I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we have been very busy here at the HailPalace with all of those storms the past few days and the storms the next few days. We do not get a break at all, which means you probably don't get a break either. So let's talk about the storm risk today. We have another one tomorrow, another one on Sunday, and another on Monday. Yes, so whenever I say there is no break, I mean severe weather season is on. So rinse and repeat today. We have two risks for storms today, very similar to what we saw yesterday. So one down in Texas and another one up in the northern plains. And I see people are on here. Yes, comment where you are watching from today. Comment about the risk that you are watching for too. Are you watching for Saturday's risk, Sunday's risk? I can see all of your comments at the bottom of the screen. Talk about Saturday. We do have an increasing hail risk here, pretty large area that we're watching for hail on Saturday, and an outbreak likely on Sunday. So let's take a look at what we saw yesterday, then we'll look forward to see what we're seeing over the next few days. Yesterday, storms started to fire up in the middle of Kansas. So we're talking about Hays to Salina, right along I-70 here. We saw some high wind. We also saw some hail out of these storms, especially this northern storm seemed to be the hailer for most of this cluster here. This continued for about an hour. After that, we were pretty quiet, especially in terms of hail. We did have a tornado report down in the far southern portion of Texas. Other than that, no hail reported down in Texas either. We've got Texas, Dallas to San Antonio through Monday. Okay, so we'll be talking about Dallas, especially on Saturday. So watch for that Saturday forecast. Either way, as we are headed through the rest of last night into early this morning, we saw that rain across Texas. It was probably a very rainy commute for you all in Dallas this morning, and probably a rainy lunchtime as well. And then we've been severe clear since last night. However, right now, we do have a tornado warning ongoing right now. This is the Texas-Louisiana state line. Do you see that right there? It's a little bit darker black right there to indicate the state line. So there is your tornado warning. This goes, I'm actually going to get a little bit more information on this warning. So let's check this right here. We have a tornado warned storm moving to the north. The potential earlier for large hail up to the size of a $50 was there, but it looks like that hail size has gone down now. This is radar indicated, so we don't have any ground truth to this, just radar indicated right here. And this is moving to the north at 30 miles an hour. This tornado warning does go for about 30 more minutes until 1:15. So we'll talk about your tornado risk here in just a minute, but I did want to mention that we do have that warning ongoing right now, right along the Texas-Louisiana state line. Okay, taking a look at those temperatures, it's pretty above average for today. We've got cold air moving in for tomorrow, so we've got that heat in place for today and tomorrow in those areas that we're expecting storms. And you know what we always say here, you need 4 ingredients for storm development. You need that heat. Okay, we've got it. You need that moisture. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. You need forcing. We do have a low pressure system hanging out up to the north right now. And then you need shear, and we'll talk about that as well. We have a watch ongoing right now down in the far southern portion of Texas into Louisiana, right where we saw that tornado warning earlier. Other than that, nothing severe across the U.S. This is our only severe warned storm right there. You can kind of see it highlighted in red. That's a tornado warning right there. There's your temperatures, 63 in Oklahoma City, 68 in Dallas, and then we've got the 70s in Houston and up into Iowa today. So pretty nice day across most of the U.S. I talked about that heat. What about that moisture? Okay, well, where do we see the highest dew points? Look down here. It's exactly where we're seeing storms right now. We've got the heat, we've got the moisture down to the south right now. We also have that moisture that stretches all the way up into Kansas, into Iowa, and really for a good portion of the Mississippi Valley and Tennessee River Valley as well. So we've got some good moisture out there. Okay, so where are we expecting storms? Right where we see that intrusion from dry, cold air to warm, moist air, there's your first storm chance right there, highlighted in green. And then there's your second storm chance where we've got that risk or that watch ongoing right now, even a tornado warning ongoing right now, down here anywhere from Texas all the way into central Louisiana. So 2 areas to watch for today. We'll do a big overview, and then we'll go city by city, day by day here in just a few minutes. So there's what we're expecting today. Any storms up to the north tonight are going to be pretty isolated. I think that Minneapolis may have a better chance than others, but for the most part, pretty isolated. Tomorrow looks really, really impressive, mainly in the late night hours. Tomorrow you'll start to see storms fire up over Kansas and then stretch from the north all the way down into Texas. And we'll talk about that Saturday risk down into Texas as well. But here you go. These are the storms that are tornado warned right now, anywhere from the Texas to Louisiana state line. You're going to continue to see that rain throughout the afternoon hours from the southern portion of the state all the way up into Houston. But, excuse me, I thought I was going to sneeze there. It may still, no, maybe not. Okay, it left. But after about 5 o'clock today, I do think that we will be severe clear in Texas, and then those storms will be tracking off into Louisiana, and that is where we will meet them in the early morning hours on Saturday. So there's just one more model for you to see. What we're watching for here are those isolated storms. If we can get a rogue isolated storm, then we could get a spin-up tornado or even some large hail. Now remember that a spin-up tornado does not mean a weak tornado. It means that it will be happening very fast. And right where we had that tornado forecast for today, that is where we have the watch right now, and even that tornado warning just hanging out along the Texas and Louisiana state line. But let's move up to the north now. Oh, and a low hail risk. I think this is about done. I'm not terribly worried about these storms down in the southern portion of Texas. You could see some small hail, but again, that will be severe clear by about 5 o'clock tonight. Now let's move up to the north. So moving up to the north here, I mentioned that we'll see more storms farther up to the north into places like Minneapolis and into Wisconsin. However, as we head farther down to the south, these storms will be very isolated. Now Omaha, I know that you see that you are in the green, low risk for small hail today. Wait until tomorrow. We do have another chance for Omaha to get hit with hail tomorrow. Here's your hail risk here, your hail model showing, again, a low chance farther down to the south, but a much better chance for that large hail up to the north here, anywhere from Minneapolis all the way into Wisconsin, as we showed you earlier. Moving on to your hail risk, I think we just talked about this. Max forecasted hail size today, not terribly impressive. Maybe ping pong ball sized hail if you're lucky. However, I think that it's going to be smaller than ping pong ball size hail today, most likely on the smaller size, about quarter size hail. Okay, I'm going to skip through some of this wind risk here. It's going to be a low chance for some low wind, right around 55 to 65 miles an hour. Let's get to tomorrow. I think this is what a lot of people have their eyes on. Early tomorrow morning, what do we see? We see those storms ongoing across the Midwest, anywhere from Minneapolis all the way down into the northern plains. Not terribly impressive, most likely sub-severe, not severe. What we're watching for is right around dinner time, if not shortly afterwards. That's when we're going to see those storms blow up over Kansas. So we see this oftentimes whenever we go out storm chasing or whenever we're watching the radar. It feels like we're just waiting. We're saying, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And then all of a sudden, one storm goes up and it's like, warning. That's what I think we're going to see tomorrow, is where those storms take their sweet time popping up, but once they do, I think we are going to see a very, very, very busy late night hour into the overnight and into early Sunday morning. We're really watching for isolated storms up to the north, so isolated storms into Omaha and then all the way into Iowa and Illinois into the early morning hours. More clustered storms farther down to the south, but here's the thing with these storms, anywhere from southern Kansas, like Wichita, into northern Oklahoma, like Tulsa. What we're watching for here is if we could get an isolated storm or two, especially off of those first few initial storms, we will have a pretty decent threat for a tornado and large hail. So I think those will be your two biggest threats tomorrow. Wichita again to Tulsa, Kansas City kind of included in this as well, but I think that the risk goes down as you move away from the southern portion of Kansas into Oklahoma. So your risk goes down into Kansas City, your risk goes way down into Oklahoma City, but we do have another cluster of storms down into Texas, so late tomorrow night into early Sunday morning. We were talking about Dallas earlier. I think that we'll have a cluster of storms down here that could produce some quarter to ping pong ball size hail down into Texas, and I have your hail risk right here. Into Dallas, we have quarter to ping pong ball size hail down in Dallas. Now I think that that goes up Wichita to KC, and including Tulsa here. I think that you will see golf ball to 2-inch size hail in this area right here. So if I was to even raise this risk right here to be in the red, I would put it right here from Wichita, where those storms blow up, all the way into the far northern portion of Oklahoma. So not including Oklahoma City here, including Tulsa, and then I would go all the way up to KC. So that's where I would put the larger hailstones, is right in here. You're going to see smaller down to the south and then smaller up to the north. Oklahoma City, if you get any storms tomorrow, they will be isolated. I think it's going to be pretty difficult to get storms down in OKC. There's your hail risk for tomorrow. We've got Beaumont, Texas on here. Beaumont, Texas, getting storms right now, right? You're not too far away from that severe thunderstorm warning, or excuse me, that tornado warning that's ongoing. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, just slightly larger than golf ball size hail, I think is possible. Hen egg sized hail is what we have, 2-inch size hail. We do have a tornado risk for tomorrow as well, anywhere from KC to Wichita, including Tulsa once again, all the way up to the Ozarks and then into the central portion of Missouri. So that's what we're watching for your tornado risk tomorrow. It's low, but even as we saw for today, even though it's low, we could still get a tornado or two. Sunday has a very wide risk for a good portion of people. We're saying on here anywhere from Pennsylvania all the way down to Dallas on Sunday. Dallas, you are in that level 2, level 3 risk here. Excuse me, level 1 to level 2 risk here. That level 3 risk highlighted here in red. Texarkana is popping in here. Thanks for joining us, Texarkana. Texarkana in that level 3 risk as well. That is a enhanced risk, and you're even in that hatched area. So what does the hatched area mean? That means that we are going to see strong storms in this area. Not only the likelihood for a lot of storms, a very good chance for a lot of storms in this area, but they're likely to be strong. So those strong storms stretch anywhere from Texarkana all the way up through the Ozarks into St. Louis, Cincinnati on here, Memphis included in that. But even if you take a step down, you're still going to see some decent storms anywhere from the southern portion of Mississippi all the way up to Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, portions of Oklahoma, portions of Texas included in that as well. Did I forget anyone? Tennessee, Kentucky, even portions of the Virginia is included in this risk for Sunday. Again, that could happen at any time during Sunday, but I think that will be mainly an afternoon to evening event. Very similar on Monday as this line of storms slowly shifts to the east here. And then once again, Monday afternoon into the evening hours, we're watching for another line of storms to go severe. At this point, I think that the hail risk is going to go down and that wind risk is going to go up farther off to the east. But finally, by Monday afternoon into the evening hours, we are expecting to be severe clear. We get a day or two off, so by about Tuesday, we get a little bit of a break. But look at this, on Wednesday, we have another chance for storms to move through here, and I think by the middle to the end of next week, we will see another round of storms. So it stays very, very active. Alrighty, taking a look at that hail risk once again, because I know that we just talked about a lot of information, a lot of different areas across the country, several different days. Saturday, that risk goes anywhere from Iowa all the way down to Texas, with the best chance for large hail anywhere from Wichita to Tulsa up to KC. Sunday, and I know my map is messed up a little bit here. Sunday, we move out to the east into St. Louis, Memphis, Cincinnati, even as far east as Atlanta, Georgia. And then by Monday, we're farther off onto the East Coast. By Monday afternoon, evening hours, we are finally severe clear. But I talked about that midweek storm next week. Okay, so we're not done there. We're not done on Monday. Where's that next storm system? Here's what we're watching for. We're watching for these troughs. So that is a dip in the jet stream, and any time that on the upslope, right here, if you can get some of these oranges to pop up, that means that you could get a pretty good chance for severe weather. What do we see? Right here on Wednesday into Thursday, there's your next chance for severe weather. So even as we head into the first week of April, it does look like this pattern, this very active severe weather pattern, will continue. And we don't just see that from our upper air models here, but we also see that on our long-term temperature and precip models, moisture models. And I'll show you that here in just a minute as well. Future temperatures here, pretty nice right now. However, it will get a little bit cooler as we head into the weekend. I wouldn't call it cold, but maybe chilly for some of us. For others, it's cold. It's cold farther up to the north when temperatures are in the 30s. Freeze coming for some people as well. But for the most part, it'll be chilly into the early portion of next week, and then we'll warm up pretty nicely. Your winds here, if you heard me last week talking about the winds, or I guess complaining about the winds, I always say a gorgeous day can be ruined by high winds. The good news is that today, while it could be windy, it does look like the winds will slow down as we head into the weekend. Not as concerned about the winds here as I am about the severe weather. Now let's talk about these long-term models here. About 6 to 10 day outlook here, what we're watching for. So this is April 2nd through the 6th. We're into next week at this point. We are likely to stay above average in terms of temperatures. Temperatures are looking to be warmer than normal. But really what catches my eye is that chance to see more rain than what we normally see this time of the year. What this tells us is that we are in store for a pretty active pattern to continue. So very similar to what we've seen over the last few days, will most likely continue as we head into the first week of April, at least through the first week of April here. Thanks for joining us today on this Friday afternoon. Because of the activity that we see today and through the weekend, we'll most likely have a forecast tomorrow as well. So set your alarms right around lunchtime. Noon tomorrow, we will have another forecast. We don't normally do them on the weekends, but it's spring, so we probably will. In the meantime, join us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn and Threads. If there's a social media platform out there, we're probably on it. And give us a call at 855-334-4245 if you're interested in a tornado, hail, or wind map. We have meteorologists right now who are watching the radar from that tornado warning down in the Louisiana-Texas state line. And they're mapping that storm as we speak. If they see a tornado on the ground, they will be mapping it. So if you're interested in one of those maps, give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com or head over to our website, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. We'll see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.